Hi everyone. Um, Listen, I'm talking to you after doing hours of fucking singing. I didn't even realize how long I was singing for. But yeah, I came home on a relatively good note today. Um, my day went really well. If there are those of you who are following Empress Justice Tarot or any of my other channels, you'll know that today was pretty good for me. There's nothing major going on yet, but my life is changing in spite of the fact that I'm still being electronically tortured and I'm still being, subjected to, organized stalking and harassment. All of that is still happening. It's all still happening. It's just that I think tactics are changing or something like that because it's I don't know. I've faced less I've either faced less obstacles lately or um the way that I've approached my gang stalking has changed. I still get a lot of the same shit, but it's just like, I don't let it stop me. There's no point in letting it stop me. If it gets really, really bad, then the only thing to do with pain is just relax and restrain. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's all you can do when you're going through pain. So when it gets really, really bad, I'll just do that. Rest and restrain myself, okay? But unless it's really fucking bad, I'm not gonna stop what I need to do because it doesn't matter what I do. The gang stalkers are gonna do what they do. They're gonna continue to torture me in whatever ways they can find to do it. And pausing my life and wasting my life, anticipating on what they're gonna do next. I'm not about to do that anymore. The only thing that I can do with the pain that is constantly inflicted on me is to alchemize it. And I'm looking back through my internet entries and, it's very, very evident that I'm in a different place now compared to how I was then. I try to avoid the temptation to judge myself too harshly because God knows the rest of the world is going to do that for me anyway. But it's evident how much I've changed and how much my priorities have changed as of late. I'm getting electronically tortured in the tooth in particular here, like there's a swelling here that isn't present here. So I'm getting attacked in the tooth quite a lot, which is causing me to talk through my teeth, like this, a lisp, slight lisp. So I'm being attacked in my tooth quite a lot, and I was attacked as I was doing my little thing today. Like I was at market, and I kept getting the torture here, which caused me to talk in a lisp. I think the point was to stop me from talking altogether and to stop me doing from what I had to do. It didn't work, of course, because if they cranked it up too much, then it would probably. It was a busy day, so if they'd have cranked it up too much, it would have raised suspicion. But it was raised just enough to make it uncomfortable. Not so much that I was raising hell, but so much that I was uncomfortable and stuff like that. And I'm also noticing that when I'm in the shower, I was in the shower this evening and the torture wasn't as bad as when I came back into the room. So obviously there's an attempt to control what I go, where I go, what I do, how I sleep. The kids still won't let me sleep. They're still doing their little thing, like banging on the ceiling and shit. And it's hard to care. Because it's the same shit. Like, it's hard to care at this point. I think the fact that I'm not getting upset and I'm not cussing at them and I'm not doing what they want me to do is upsetting them and it's making them feel bad. That's really not my problem. Like, it's not my problem if people find out they're part of a trafficking ring and that job that they're involved in, it doesn't go the way they planned. That's got nothing to do with me, even if they are kids and it's not really their fault. It's got nothing to do with me. How they feel is not my problem. It's not my issue. What I am concerned about is, as determined as I am to make a success of my life, more than the pain that I'm going to be subjected to, more than the sabotage that, you know, there will be multiple attempts at sabotage. My worry is leaving the gang stalking, not the gang stalking, but the targeted individual community behind. I don't want to leave you guys behind. There are going to be times where there's the temptation to hide what I go through. But again, it's not just about me, it's about you guys too. The TI community is more than just, it's more than just me, and it's more than just I, it's us. It's us who are dying, it's us who are being discredited all over the place. It's us who are having our psychological injuries from abuse used against us. It's us who are being electronically tortured every day. It's us who have cancer and heart attacks and strokes and abscesses or swellings or organ failures because of the amount of electronic weaponry that is used on us. So I know that if I make a better success of my life, I know that there's going to be one door, and I know that only I can walk through it. I get that. But please understand that the last thing I have any intention of doing is leaving you guys behind or making you guys feel like, you know, the second you have a little bit of happiness in your life, suddenly targeting doesn't exist anymore. I'm not having that. I'm not having that. I will make a success of my life. I will alchemize the pain that they have put me through. But the one thing I'm not going to do is leave you guys behind. Every single opportunity I get, I am going to do my level best to talk about what's going on, or at least to give myself a big enough platform so that people will listen. When I say people are being abused by their own government, killed by their own government, and not just through the legislations or laws that the Tories are putting down, but through unlawful experimentations by major companies. People are dying, people are being murdered, and people are being tortured daily when they don't deserve it, and they never asked for it. A lot of them since children, maybe even before they were born. I know in my case it's intergenerational. So I want you guys to know that, like, as much as I am going to make something of my life, is not even a question. I'm going to. Because if the pain isn't going to end, then I'm not going to stop. As much as I am determined to make something of myself, I'm not going to leave behind the gang stalking, the voice to skull, the electronic talk. It is too much to ignore. And there are more victims every day. I can't stay silent. When it comes to this right here, I've had this being fired on for like, I think about a week or so now. And it's very, very evident that the aim is to cause as much pain here so that I'd be forced to go in my own bedroom again. I could do that. I could go in my own bedroom. But if I find that, as bad as the pain is out here, if I find that I go back in my own room and it's even worse, I'm raising hell up in here. And nobody's sleeping. And the gang stalkers know that. They already know if they don't let me sleep, that, like, then nobody's sleep. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, I can do what people want me to do, but if I do what they want me to do and they fuck around, they find out. And that's how it's always been with me. If you're going to tell me to do what you asked me to do, and you're gonna back me into a corner, use my emotions against me or my physical pain against me in order to back me into a corner, and I go into that corner and you're still fucking with me, you've got a problem. So with regards to mental health, I was supposed to be doing therapy But the odd thing is that the thing about it is that I'm supposed to, I was supposed to visit my therapy sessions, but I ended up missing about 9 out of 12, which is a huge number. I don't normally miss therapy like that. I don't like to miss therapy like that, but it kind of clashed with my readings. So I'm getting an assessment on the 12th. I'm going to be doing readings on Monday and Tuesday. I think that's how it's going to be from now on. I think from now on, I'm going to be doing readings, like video readings, Saturday, Sunday, Mondays, and Tuesdays. So that's how I'm going to do it now. It's not going to be like every week. I'm going to do it 4 days a week. It's not going to be like that. That's too much. But that's when I'm going to be doing my readings. And, you know, me sitting around talking about my feelings, I do that all day, every day anyway. I've been doing a lot of internal work, and I'm continuing to do the internal work. So I don't know if I have any need for therapy. What I do know is that the PIP people are still looking at my case. So I think what will happen with the assessment, because the thing is, what the gang stalkers want is for you to be without money, but for everybody to think you're mentally ill enough to discredit your claims. But the thing about Britain is that in this country, you cannot have both. If you are deemed as being badly mentally ill, if I tell people that I'm an Havana syndrome victim and I've suffered significant bone loss and probably significant brain damage as well from all the weapons that have been fired on me, if I start talking about that and there's the physical evidence to prove it from the x-rays, then, you know, then it still could be argued that I suffer from paranoid delusion. But then it could also be proven that V2K technology actually exists, and there goes that. If paranoid schizophrenia can be synthesized by brain damage and voice to skull, then where does that leave the diagnoses? Where does that leave them? So it's like, I could say that, you know, targeting is real, and they could conclude that I'm not mentally ill enough to need PIP. I'm not mentally ill enough to be a concern. But then that would be an admission that I was telling the truth the entire time. And then a lot of medical professionals could be sued for malpractice. And if not sued, jailed. So there's that. Okay. So there's that. Maybe in America, you can have it both ways. Maybe in America, they can call you crazy, leave you homeless and out on the street, you know, because their benefit system is not like ours. Maybe in America, they can have that, but the shit don't run like that over here. They can't do that over here. They can't do that here. They can't call you mentally ill long term. And I'm a long termer as well. And I've been saying the same thing for fucking more than a decade. They can't turn around and say that I'm crazy and I have paranoid schizophrenia and I have all of this shit, you know, and then not look after me, because over here it don't work like that. They have to look after you. It doesn't matter, like, if you are a long-term mental health person, sure, they might not pay as much attention to you, but they have to look after you, and they have to make sure that you have somewhere to live. I'm band A because of their diagnosis. I'm band A. Because they would rather lie about me having paranoid schizophrenia than admit that gang stalking is real and that unlawful experimentation is being used. They would rather lie than do that. But then if they tell the truth and PIP decides I'm not mentally ill enough to need benefits and ESA decides I'm not well enough, then my evidence is invisible, essentially. They can't say that I'm mentally ill enough for my evidence not to count. So they're in a bit of a pickle here. They're in a bit of a pickle here. Because once your name is on the register for mental health, it's very difficult to get you off. even more so if they've blacklisted you and they've, you know, had you stalked all your fucking life. Because then, imagine if the gang stalking stopped in my life. There's so many perps in TI community saying, oh, I got my targeting to stop. Oh, I got my targeting to stop. Yeah, they'll stop for a couple of years. And then a handler will get involved if they feel like they can't control you enough. That's what happens. Oh, I got my targeting to stop. I got my... No, not real. Because in order for your targeting to stop, every single person who ever stalked you throughout the years, word would have to get back to them that not only did they stalk you for no reason, but they facilitated in you being tortured. And then on top of that, there would have to be the initiative to right those wrongs, not only legally, but financially and medically. The truth would have to be told to everybody. Otherwise, there's no point taking you off the list. Think about the amount of manpower that goes into gang stalking. Think about the amount of manpower that goes into having people take your picture in the street, or, you know, having people harass you, stalk you, spread rumors about you. Think about the amount of manpower that takes. And then imagine the amount of manpower it takes to even target you remotely, let alone have a permanent setup outside your flat. That takes money, that takes time, that takes endless communication. So in order to admit that I was telling the truth, even though they've done that with one other TI, in order to admit that I was telling the truth, it wouldn't be enough just to say that on paper. That's why I think this is never going to stop, because too many people are involved. Too many people are involved, and too many people know what the real deal is. They know that much of the violence and the anger and many of the protests, all of them shits have been infiltrated, because there are gang stalkers who have been infiltrating communities. Gang stalkers have been infiltrating them, and they know it. The perps know it. There's no way to that. You can't reverse all that. You can't take all that back. You can't take all that back. Why do you think that benefits are being reduced? Why do you think they're getting rid of people that way? Why do you think NHS care is being reduced? Why do you think they're getting rid of people that way? There are too many witnesses to what's going on. So there's just way too much evidence of what's happened. There's too much has happened. So, I mean, shit, like, they could keep going on this road. But again, if it comes to the mental health assessment, I can just tell the truth. There's nothing to stop me telling the truth. There's nothing's going to stop me from what I have to do. I'm still getting fired on this. So, nothing's going to stop me from what I have to do. Absolutely nothing. So, yeah, today's been a really good day. I can't lie. I shouldn't say it, but I enjoyed today. I had fun. So, yeah, that's all I'll say for now. And again, targets, I'm not forgetting you at all. You are very much on my mind. You were there for me when mental health professionals were lying and are still lying. You were there for me when my own family know what's going on and refuse to acknowledge it. You guys were there for me, and you're still there for me, and I appreciate you. And yeah. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Peace and blessings. Mwah. Bye-bye.